There's no country today that is more free and democratic than the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. And I would say that in a New York Times interview. I would say that at any setting, I have to say it because it's true. Sure, I know it was a provocative thing to say, but I think it is true, as I mentioned in the 5 second clip, which was taken from a 2.5 hour stream. As a philosophy professor, I come from a tradition that thinks about morality in social terms, thinks about morality in terms of ethical life, the ability to achieve rational, mutual recognition between individuals, mediated through rational social institutions, and the highest of which, of course, would be the state. It's a tradition that situates me within um, other thinkers like Aristotle, Hegel, and Marx, who are thinking about moral problems and dilemmas situated not just in the aspirations of individual flourishing, but social flourishing, and this sort of dialectical and reciprocal relationship between the individual and the social, such that to have the conditions for human flourishing at the individual level, you also need to meet them at the social level. Now, I think that in terms of freedom, that's really the substance of freedom is having ethical life. As Hegel would say, in German, the term is Sittlichkeit. I think those conditions are much more plentifully met in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, given that it is a socialist country, than it is in any of the capitalist countries in the West. As far as democracy, I know this might sound like another bold claim, considering that here in the West we consider democracy to be multi party democracy and elections, even though traditionally for the Greeks, who were the first people to theorize democracy, elections were a method of politics that was rooted in the aristocracy, and parties themselves are an invention of something like a millennium after democracy itself. So our conception of democracy is already very warped, but etymologically, democracy is a combination of two words. It's demos, which means popular folks, common people, what we would use as masses today, and kratos, which means the ability to exert power over, to rule. Really, democracy, what it means is what in the Marxist tradition we label as the dictatorship of the proletariat, the ability to have power in the hands of common people, in the hands of the working class. And given that the Democratic People's Republic of Korea is a socialist country, I think that it is therefore more plentifully democratic, more plentifully able to exert a form of popular dictatorship, a dictatorship of the people, than what we have in the capitalist West. So there you go, a little bit of a longer explanation for why I said the DPRK is the most democratic and free country in the world.